Thankful to be back in Dowdy, and finally a Saturday game in Dowdy. It's been a while since we had one of those, and be the first day game of the year in Dowdy-Ficklin. So excited about that. No place I'd rather be than with Pirate Nation in the FIC. And it'd be great to have, friends back, alumni back for homecoming, and a big game, and a lot of events going on this week. Congrats to the Letterman winners and the Hall of Fame inductees, including our football inductees, Dwayne Harris and Shane Carden and Justin Hardy. Certainly laid the foundation to make what Greenville's about, what Greenville football in Greenville's about, and making it matter in a place where football is important. So thank you to those men, and excited to have them back. Also excited to have our seniors from last year's Military Bowl champs back with us this weekend. I think they're getting their rings finally, and I have those guys during the game. So be good to see those young men. Going back to last week, always good to anytime you can get a road win in this conference. I think that's huge, and I thought it was a very good Temple team going in. Temple team that I thought could have been undefeated in conference. Some of the highlights coming up there in Philly. It's a tough place to play, but I thought we did a really good job just bringing energy and bringing juice to it all day. You could have easily went into it, had a bye week, 16 days off, and just kind of oozed out of there or got off to a slow start. But I thought we started fast, and defense gets the 3 and out, offense goes down and scores. We pick off their quarterback for the first time all year and go up 14-0. Thought it was a really good job with that. I think the biggest impact of the game was the physicality we played with on both sides of the football, and that's something we practice. Just talked to our group this morning about you run the football because we practice inside run. We do perimeter drill on the perimeter, on the edges there, and able to be physical out there. And it's the same thing defensively. You're able to stop the run because of inside run, some things we do there. So I thought that was kind of the biggest key throughout the game on both sides there. I thought those running backs, London, TJ, Marlon, all had good games. Anthony certainly had a big run there, 45-yard touchdown. And then Yannick showed up in the passing game, had 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. I thought Javante Connor, just watching him and doing some things, thought it was his best effort of the year, blocking, doing some things on the perimeter. Desiree Riles continues to be an impact. And I think those guys up front, Kojo, you see him at the end of plays, come finishing guys off and pushing a pile. Him and Kyle, thought Kyle Long, that was his best effort of the year. And Cooper in there as well, played really well up front. Defensively, had several guys, did a good job. But I think it was just kind of a combination of stats. You look at the stats, there's not a guy with 10 tackles or a guy with all the sacks or a guy with all the stats. But I think it's a defensive unit that's doing it as a team and doing it as a group, and really proud of that group right now. I thought Jordy Lowry started off the day playing really well and had a big TFL on a corner fire there, almost picked off the first play of the game, and did a really good job in one of his first starts of the season. Jamarly Riddle, had a picked the kid off last year twice, and early in the game was able to do that as well. And then up front, just some guys, Zion, Wilson, Pete Carr, JD, Josiah Robinson, all those guys doing it up front. Good job up front, just dominating. I think going into the game, they were only giving up about 4 TFLs a game. Most of those came in the Oklahoma game, and I think we had a little over 8 TFLs on the day. So, I thought Raheem Craig probably had his best effort of the year, just running the football, chasing the ball around. Some other guys that kind of got in the game, Aiden Dunkerson showed up a little bit, coming downhill, making some tackles, throwing his body around. And then Mike Wright, we're able to get him in a corner and just, using him in multiple areas and help our football team. So, kicking game, I think Nick Mazzy walks out there again, hits it right down the middle of the uprights, big long kick again, continues to be consistent. And then Ryan Rosenberg, all he says, just getting the ball, I guess, and was able to break a play there in the run game. And I told him he should actually scored, but it was good to see him get the first down. And just the energy on that play from our sideline, I thought was the biggest factor. We pointed out our effort, we pointed out our edge this morning, and then that energy, and it shows up particularly on that play of everybody on the sideline, teammates being excited, not only for our football team, but for Ryan making that play. On our opponent, they're coming off a bye week. They've had 15 days off, so they'll be fresh, and they've had extra time to prepare for us and extra practice time to kind of get ready for the Pirates. Tim Albin is their new head coach. Tim comes from Ohio, done a great job up there. I think the last 3 seasons, won 10 games each of those seasons. Offensively, there'll be some familiarity there. Todd Fitch is their offensive coordinator, once a Pirate. and they're going to have a quarterback, Grayson Lewis, who started out his career at Duke. They're really a huddle football team. They'll play 11 personnel, 12 personnel. You'll see zone run game. You'll see a little bit of counter, some quick game, ball control, and then they'll max protect, play action, take a shot down the field. Defensively, you're going to see more of a 4-down front. Nate Faines is their defensive coordinator. He comes with the head coach from Ohio, and kind of their linebackers kind of stand out. The Smiths, number 19 and 40, Williford, kind of lead them in tackles. Now I think in the kicking game, both their returners in the punt return game and the kick return game do a good job. 5, Nicholas. In the punt return game, he also stands out offensively, just his speed. I think he's about a 10'7", 10'6" kid from high school. And then the kid from Hopewell, Ely, is 89, is a kick returner and does some good things back there, and certainly got the speed to take one to the house. So as we go through the week, we obviously want to focus on our opponent like each and every week, but the biggest focus is on us, our preparation, our mindset, and getting ready to play a football game in Dowdy-Ficklin with our fans on Saturday. So at this time, I'll let you guys ask away. Nobody gets to start it besides Steven. He's on a streak right now.
Thank you, raise our hands up. But, 14 all, they came back and tied it. Y'all, I think on that drive, ran out 11 straight times. You talk about the physicality, but it seemed to make a statement, kind of wearing them down, and just can you talk about what that did for your sideline?
Yeah, that felt like old school football there. As a part of those option teams forever, and that's exactly what it felt like. And you mentioned we got a 14-0, and they come back and make a run at it. And I don't think our kids ever flinched. We just went back to doing what we do. And they were playing a lot of 3-high safety, double cloud there, and kind of protecting the corners. And I thought our offensive line and offense and whole, Coach Baker and everybody did a good job of just attacking what they gave you. And then that was a run game, and just went at it and just being patient and that right down the field and putting the ball in the end zone and playing the style we wanted to play. So and that, like you said, like you see Marlon Gunn punishing guys, you see Kojo over the top, and you see Panda pancaking guys, and TJ and London, and just play after play. And it just wasn't one or two guys being physical. It's physical on the perimeter. It's physical blocks. It's physical run game. And to finish that thing in the end zone sets a lot of energy for your team, and it does a lot of things for your entire team when you can run the football like that. Obviously opens up the pass game down the field, and obviously keeps your defense fresh. The best defense you can have is the one that's on the sideline, and certainly a run game will do that for you.
Sticking with the run game, I think 11 different guys had carries in that one for over 350 yards.
Yeah.
When you throw different looks at a defense, how does it kind of stress out trying to stop it?
Yeah, I think, defensively you go into a game plan and you look at what we do, and you look at Anthony Smith running by you, and that definitely scares you because he can get to the box pretty quick. And speaking of Anthony, I thought he had an exceptional effort on Yannick's long run, just getting down there and making an extra block, and just really, really appreciate that. But all those things open it up, and it wasn't just the inside run game or just the inside zone or whatever working in there. It was the perimeter, and those, putting the ball in Anthony's hands, Brock's hands, and DeCirio blocking out there, Mason Brown blocking out there. So all that opens up just kind of some different things, and the play action off of it. We were able to hit DeCirio with that as well. And so it just kind of creates everything, kind of flows together. And we're starting to put those things together to be a complete football team. Now the biggest challenge will be, can we be consistent with it? Can we go from one week to another week, be consistent of doing things we need to do to win a football game?
Coach, you held them to just 2 yards per play on first down. They're a team who does a very good job staying ahead of the sticks.
Yeah.
Do you guys sense any panic from them, kind of playing from behind the sticks? That's very untraditional for them.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, the keys to success and how, we can be successful on Saturday, and it was winning first down on both sides of the football, staying on schedule offensively, getting the second medium, keep the sticks moving, getting the first down, and defensively putting them behind the sticks. And I thought we did a really good job on first down of we kind of wanted to keep the ball off the perimeter. I thought Coach Aldridge did a good job of that, and those defensive coaches of keeping the ball off the perimeter, making him hand the ball off inside. And, I thought we did a good job up front of getting some penetration and get some TFLs, put them in 2nd and 11, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12s, and kind of makes your job easier on the night if you put the stress on them. And certainly when you can take a lead and put them in 2nd and long, it kind of gets them out of the comfort zone. It makes them, play in a different mindset, game plan that maybe they're prepared for. So, I still think they're a good football team. I think Evan Simon's certainly a good quarterback, and I know they've got a tough stretch of 3 games left, but I think they're going to end up, getting that 6th win and getting to a bowl game this year.
Coach, with Roseborough's success on the fake punt and where he had the world by the tail at JP2, any plans to put him in short yardage, and especially around the goal line, put him back there in the back?
Yeah, he hasn't quit talking about it since Saturday. So I'm sure if we do, that you'll know about it before our opponent does, or with our opponents at the same time. But he was obviously a high school running back, had done a good job. He told me the reason he didn't score and tried to hurdle the guy, he was only worried about protecting the football. He wasn't worried about the score. He already had the first down. But we've been working those things for all season long, and certainly it gives you the flexibility to do that in those special team situations. So just another guy that is not just bought into doing his job defensively, but to help us on the special teams, and does a great job there. And we got other guys that played high school running back. I think that's the unique thing about when you recruit athletes and you just recruit good players and recruit guys that are athletes and find the spots for them later on. And I think that helps you be versatile and be creative in areas like that.
Coach, TJ had a big game, but he had some adversity early in the game. Did you say anything to him to kind of get his confidence back there?
Hold the ball. I think Coach Freeman told him to keep that thing up high and tight. And he's a young kid. He's a really going through his freshman year, and I think that was the first one all year that we let out and let on the ground and didn't get it back. And we just got to do a better job of being conscientious about that. And I thought that for the most part, the rest of the game we were. That one time you get the ball a little bit low again, but for the most part, we're doing a pretty good job keeping that thing up high and tight. And if it don't cost you, it obviously cost us 7 points there, and we need to do a little better job defensively in the red zone there. But if it doesn't cost you a game, you can grow from that, and you got to grow from it regardless. But it's not as painful if it costs you a game. So if it's going to happen, probably happen at a good time. If there is a good time for those things, but we just got to grow from it. See if we can go. Another 7 games without that happening.
Scored 40 points, more than 40 points in the last 2 games. Just what have you seen click offensively, just for them to be more consistent? Yeah,
we need to be consistent about scoring 40 points for the next 4 games. But I think we're starting to put some things together. I mean, you had 568 last, Tulsa game, over 600 this game, and you're just seeing guys starting to play together. Caton's doing a really good job of commanding the offense and running the offense back there, and guys taking care of the football, giving the extra effort, playing with edge, playing with physicality, and those things add up to points on the scoreboard, yardage, keeping the defense off the field, and Pirate wins. So we got to continue to be consistent with that.
Coach, is a big week as far as other sports are concerned. I mean, this campus is going to be all types of basketball
Yeah.
and everything going on here, homecoming. But how do you describe this time of year? We have all that stuff.
I think, it's one of the, as you go throughout the years, like one of the best times of year for sports in general. You just finished up with the World Series, basketball starting to start up. The most important games of the football season are really at play here in November that decide. You got rivalry weeks, you got conference race weeks, you got who's getting to a bowl game, who's playing for a conference. All those things are kind of playing out in November. And we talk about November being special, making it a November to remember, all those things, and certainly got off to a good start on the first day of it. We just got to be consistent with it throughout the week. And, obviously, like as you spoke about, there's a lot of things going on campus this week with the homecoming, with the basketball game starting up. But our main focus still got to be on us and our preparation and keeping that the main thing. We talk about control the controllables and keep the main thing, and it's certainly going to be at test this week, and we got to do a great job of that and preparations for Saturday at 3 p.m.
Coach, last year, obviously, Charlotte was a pretty dark day.
Yep.
Try to look back at that, bring it up to the team. How do you find the balance between that and worrying about yourself?
Yeah, we obviously, I think anytime you're preparing for an opponent, it's the focus is on you. But, we just had the young men in our locker room stand up that were here in 23. The young men in our locker room that were here in 24 stand up. And they all know what that means and what that's about. And we do in our locker room, and we know we got to treat this game a little differently, I think we have in the past. And that's the biggest thing that we focused on and talked about in the off season. And it's the biggest game on our schedule because it's the next game. And it happens to be a team down the road, and that adds a little bit more to it. and it's became, you know, a team in this state that we got to establish who we are in this state and establish what we're about. And I just told our guys that we ain't the same team we were a year ago when we played these guys, but we got to go out and prove that on Saturday. We can't take a single play from last week, a single point, a single defensive stop into this week. We got to go out and be consistent with what we do every week. Obviously, the focus is on us, but that's definitely fresh in their minds, and we'll make sure it stays there as well.
Any other questions?
We were out at practice, we saw Mike Wright doing a competition, or what was it, correction?
Yeah,
sprints, and
yeah.
he runs over the offense and runs the kind of play there. How about what he's doing at practice right now?
Yeah, most guys, you know, we do a little extra conditioning with those guys from time to time. Mike does his conditioning from field to field, you know, offensive field, defensive field, special teams, whatever it may be. And just, you know, we talked about it earlier, is Mike is a special young man for so many reasons. I think he flew the plane back home the other night, somebody said. But he just brings so much to our program, not from just an athletic standpoint, what he can do with the ball in his hands or covering guys and locking guys down over there or playing special teams, but his leadership and his attitude, his energy. And, you know, when you have guys like that, you got to get them on the field, and we just got to find more ways to keep utilizing Mike and making him a part of our offense and a part of our defense. And I think both Coach Baker and Coach Alder are doing a great job with that, and I think you'll see more of that moving forward.